Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls TV. I'm your host, Mike B. Well, here we are. We're still locked down, still a global pandemic raging across the world in a seriously uncool fashion. So content is still sparse. I will acknowledge that. It is, as I've said in previous videos, I'm still working. Wife's still working. I've got a toddler. It's really tricky to do. And the spare moments of downtime, it's really. So yeah, it's a thing. I filmed some bits and pieces and I've got to compile it, but I haven't had really a chance, and it's mother-in-law's birthday the other week, so we're doing some videos for that. So yes, stuff has been going on. I just haven't been doing much of this stuff. So to bring us up to speed where we're at, so yeah, some video bits have done. I filmed some Century Spice Road review, actually. I need to compile and edit because we played that with the fam the other day. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. It's going to result in me belching for this, I imagine. So there we go. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, there's stuff going on. We recorded a podcast 61 the other night, me and Charlie did. So that's nearly edited, so I'll drop that in the next week or so. Plus, Charlie's written up an Aircon convention report, which I'm just tweaking now, and that'll be out this week. Hopefully, it's Friday today, so it probably won't be this week. It's very hard to keep track of where we are. So that'll be out soon anyway. And a bunch of other reviews and stuff that he's done. Yes, I will try and be a bit more productive in the next few weeks because the end of the month, I've got a week off from work, so I'll try and get some stuff done. Actually, not this month, next month. Oh, God. Anyway, I've got some time coming up because I had it booked for Expo, and I've just extended it because I just need some time away from work. Everyone else is at home. I really do feel like I need some time from work. So anyway, let's go through some stuff and give you something to think about. So dropping straight away is Board Game Geek have put out a distance gaming guide. So it compiles a lot of the free stuff. Well, I shared some of it in the last video, I think, and I've been putting it onto the Facebook page. But yeah, they've kind of compiled it into a really handy guide of all the print and page stuff that's available, and I think they're updating as it comes. So that's a really good sort of drop point to go into and see all the stuff that is available. There's a lot of it. Maybe at some point, what I try and do is print some of this stuff off and maybe have a play with some of it. That might be a thing to do. So yeah, so there's that. So that's a really good place to go to. I'll put the link at the bottom of the video. It's there. That's that to go to. So there's that. Lovely. What else is there? Well, Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter's still thundering on. Frosthaven launched, I think it was last week, maybe this week. It is all very tricky to remember. Weeks and days all kind of merge into one. Frosthaven came out. It's done rather well. I think I don't even know what it's on now. It's like 6 million or something. It looks really cool. We played Frosthaven. I've covered it before. We love Frosthaven. This looks just more of the same, but a lot more bling and just kind of polished and a few more features and stuff. It sounds very cool, and I did discuss it on the podcast we recorded. So yeah, I backed that. Me and the guys are splitting the payments on that. We're gonna kind of go foursies into it. So that's it. So it makes it fairly inexpensive at that point if you're going to group up and buy. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. If we really enjoyed Frosthaven, if you enjoyed Frosthaven, then Gloomhaven, then that's kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, really good, really something to look forward to, I feel. Also dropping this week was Ankh from Cool Mini or Not, which is the third of the Eric Lang tenuously linked trilogy of Dudes on a Map games. Started with Blood Rage, which is a cracking game. We would play a lot of Blood Rage. There was Rising Sun, which I've not played enough Rising Sun to even really have an opinion on it at the moment. I like it, and it looks gorgeous. It's got lots of plastic. Definitely. I did feel that there's a disconnect, that really actually the big plastic stuff isn't doing anything that... Anyway, it was all right. So Ankh was one, and the one I was waiting for is potentially my final Cool Mini or Not project, because I'm kind of lost a bit of the will to live with them, to be honest, how they go about some of their stuff. But that's personal opinion for me. But it was the one that I would break my embargo of Cool Mini or Not to possibly back. I don't know. The issue is $100 at the moment, plus $40, $50 of postage on top, so $150 before they start throwing add-ons at you, which is invariably going to start happening. It looks okay. I've got Kemet. Do I need another Egyptian-themed war game type thing? It sounds... I'm looking at it. It does look like an interesting thing. It's doing different to what the previous two games have done for certainty, so that's something. Yeah, I'm on the fence. My biggest issue at the moment is A, it's a fairly substantial outlay for whenever that's going to arrive. But secondly, there was a worrying report regarding Cool Mini's finances. Now, I'm not a math type person, so I can't tell you for definite, but that is a worrying prospect. Do you want to give them money? Is it going to happen? I think it probably will. I don't think Cool Mini are going to go bankrupt overnight or anything, but it is food for thought. Do I wait for it to come out to just retail? That's where I'm at the moment. A lot of the Kickstarter bling at the moment is just token upgrades and stuff, which are nice. And the Rising Sun ones were nice, were cool. So I don't know. I am very much fence sitting on that at the moment until maybe towards the very end of that project, as I'll make a concerted effort to think about what I'm going to do with it. Also, there's been teased from Awakening Realms is the Nemesis Lockdown, which is unfortunate. Probably subtitle for that, which is like a standalone expansion for Nemesis, which will have all the Kickstarter stuff from the first Nemesis Kickstarter available, but not the base game. But Nemesis is a solid game, really good. I played that a lot, really enjoy it. It's thematically quite good fun, looks gorgeous on the table, plays really well actually. So that has one that's really teased me into, I might wait for that. So there's that. That's what Kickstarter's doing. There's a bunch of other stuff I'm sure going on there, but they're the things that I've looked at. They are things I've seen. What else going on? What's going on? So yeah, Charlie's Acorn, before I've said, Podcast 61 is dropping. I guest slotted on a 5 games for Doomsday thing that Ben Maddox has been doing. Voices, I can't remember what it's called now. It's basically interviews with various people from the industry in various places, how they're dealing and what they're doing during the pandemic. So I did a thing on there with him regarding my work and the joy of what it is to deal with the general public on a daily basis in a pandemic. So yeah, I did that. So if you want to listen to that, that's out there. There's lots of other bits he's done, some really interesting interviews and stuff, and it's worth having a look. Something to do. You know what else is going on. If you're sat at home, there's something to do. It's raining. It was nice up to now, but it's decided to piss it down today, which is depressing. So that's all of that. So what else have I been doing? We've been trying to play games as a family. We played a few, as I say. I haven't had a chance this week because of work. I have, however, been watching movies. So let's do a movie piece. So Doctor Sleep. Watched this a couple of weeks ago, actually. This is the sequel to The Shining. Now, there was the book come out, Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to Stephen King's book of The Shining. If you don't know the whole story behind it, King wasn't a huge fan of Kubrick's The Shining movie. He didn't really like it. I think he subsequently warmed to it as the years have gone on, but definitely he had very strong opinions regarding it, and it did deviate quite significantly from the books. But it's got Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall on like both barnstorming performances. Kubrick just doing what Kubrick did. It's just, it is a masterpiece, but maybe not the book, but it's still something else. So anyway, Doctor Sleep is the follow-up to that. And what it does, which is very cool, especially in the director's cut, which is in the Blu-ray, I don't know if it's on the DVD, which I've watched, is Ewan McGregor playing Danny Torrance, the kid from the original Shining movie. And it went a different route in the book, and as we've got in the movie, of a bunch of weirdy sort of vampire-y types going around sucking the life force out of children in it. And it works really well because it somehow manages, Mick Flanagan, I think the guy with the director is, he's managed to not only tie it into the Kubrick's movie, but obviously also stay true to the book. And it's a really cleverly done thing that if you've just watched the movie and not read the book, that works as a very nice sequel to it. It's got some really well shot flashbacks to The Shining, changed some things to the book. But it's a solid movie. The director's cut is nearly about 3 hours long, so it's a good. Well, what are you going to do? You got spare time. Ewan McGregor, always a good worth a watch. Feel like a bit of Ewan McGregor, but this was really good. I really enjoyed that. Me and son number one sat and watched that. The wife tapped out about halfway through because there was some horrific child murder going on, and she couldn't be dealing with that. So yeah, it's pretty good. Stephen King, it's probably one of his best adaptations, movie adaptations, because like King, but most of his movies are terrible that are made from his stuff. Misery was pretty good. That comes to mind as a solid one. I'm trying to think of anything as outstanding. I mean, Shining was a good film, not necessarily a book thing. But yes, Doctor Sleep, really good. I've gone on a bit about that, but yeah, that was really good. If you track that one down, lovely. And it kind of was a bit of a sleeper one. Didn't quite get the kudos it should have done. So yeah, Doctor Sleep, very good, very enjoyed that. The other thing I watched the other day was Colour Out of Space. Nicolas Cage doing Nicolas Cage is an alpaca farmer in somewhere in some woods near Arkham. This is based on the H.P. Lovecraft short story, and it's directed by Richard Stanley. Now, Richard Stanley is one of my favourite film directors, who sadly has not made very many movies. But yeah, The Colour Out of Space. So Stanley, just to give you a bit of a history thing on him, he came to prominence in the early 90s with a movie called Hardware, which is here, which is a solid sort of like very cheap British made sort of Terminator knockoff, but not quite. It was sued at one point because he kind of borrowed from a 2000 AD short story, a future shock story, of a woman trapped in an apartment with a killer robot. And that's kind of what it is. It's got some 2000 AD vibes in there. It's got some very grungy, cyberpunky, low-tech sort of film noir, sort of future noir type sort of feel to it, Blade Runner-ish. Some quite interesting characters and cast in there. And it's a kind of trippy movie. It's kind of got these moments of flights of fancy and weird, crazy shit going on, and very brutal and gory. Hardware's fantastic. If you can track it down a copy of it, I know this Blu-ray was out a little while ago, and I think it's a bit short in supply, but if you can find it, the Hardware was a solid little sort of low-budget, nasty little murderous robot cyborg movie, and not what you expect. So yeah, that made kind of started my love affair with Stanley. Was Hardware. He then subsequently went on a few years later to do Dust Devil, which is another harder one to track down, which was about a kind of Hitcher type character going around in South Africa. He's like a sort of voodoo sort of werewolf serial killer. Again, very trippy visuals and kind of this sort of just a very unique sort of style of thing from Stanley. Again, South African guy himself. Yeah, it's just, he's into witchcraft, he's into crazy shit. This, again, not a standard sort of easy movie, but fantastically well done and thing. And so he did that. Very good, really good, Dust Devil. Again, just a culty sort of really cool thing to watch. He then went off to do The Island of Dr. Moreau, the H.G. Wells story about the mad doctor, who's basically kind of biomechanically altering humans into animals and animals into humans. Very cool. He wrote a screenplay of it. It looked fantastic. He went off to film it. And then there's a whole interesting documentary, The Island of the Curse of Dr. I don't know what it's called. Find it. I'll put a link on here. Which essentially, Stanley filmed about a week of film, and then the producer stepped in and they made stories up about him. He had Marlon Brando being a lunatic, Val Kilmer being a lunatic, and he went AWOL. He was sacked, but didn't leave the island they were filming on, and went AWOL and was kind of running around behind the scenes dressed as a dog man and stuff. It's crazy stuff. And then he disappeared into a black hole and kind of went around and did some documentaries and stuff. But yeah, madness prevailed. So anyway, Stanley is back after all of that with Colour Out of Space, which has got Nicolas Cage in it, and Nicolas Cage being a crazy alpaca farmer. The idea is a meteorite lands on a farm, and this colour gets into the environment, it messes up the environment, mutates, it touches the thing, and stuff. And just if you've seen Annihilation on Netflix, very similar sort of stuff. And everyone loses their minds, crazy shit happens, and some fucked up shit happens. And yeah, brilliant, really good, really twisted, fucked up, crazy, weird shit. And Nicolas Cage being mad and crazy, which if you're in that mood of Nicolas Cage being mad and crazy, go watch Mandy as well, which is even more crazy and crazy shit. But yeah, very good. Recommended if you're a fan of gonzo, weirdo shit movies, crazy shit movies, then yeah, that was really satisfyingly freaky. And he's going to do some more. Richard Stanley back with us as a film director is high in my priority of things. Fantastic, makes me very happy because he's a crazy, weird, mystical witch, crazy dude, crazy. Lots of crazy in there. So yeah, there are recommendations to watch. There you go. If you want some interesting, mind-altering experiences, then I cannot praise them high enough. So there you go. That's what I've been doing. I'm going to sit down with son number one and educate him on some more stuff. I think we're going to go for The Prisoner, which is fantastic. Frederick McGowan. If you've never seen The Prisoner TV show, absolutely fantastic. I've seen a few people mention it on Facebook recently, which reminded me, I haven't watched that for a while, and that's a damned good series. So I'm going to watch that, and then lined up I've got Phantasm, the entire Phantasm movie series, which we'll go into maybe once we've actually sat and watched them. But if you've never seen the Phantasm movies, Don Coscaroni, who directed them. I don't know why I did it like that. But they're like, again, weird dream logic horror movies. They've got this sphere, and they've got the tall man, and it's graveyards, extra-dimensional beings robbing graveyards, and all weird stuff. But they were really cool movies in that they were kind of filmed all very low budget, except for the second one. And they all kind of carry on from one after the other, even though there's like decades gaps between the movies. They kind of flow as one complete narrative. And to some successes and failures in between, but they're just a weird, crazy roller coaster of movies to watch. So yeah, recommended, but I'll go into them in more detail once I sit down and watch them with him. I've got the DVD sets, but there is a very cool looking Blu-ray re-release coming from Arrow Video, who I highly recommend. Arrow Video, if you've not watched that, they release lots of kind of cult gems, and they at the end of the month they're bringing out the Phantasm 5-box Blu-ray set. That's going to be worth grabbing if you don't own it already. So yeah, there you go. That's what I'm doing. So there, we've diverted into movie reviews. But hey, you know, you're at home, so if you got a chance, track some of that down. If you've not watched any of that stuff and any of that is interesting, they are recommended and they're different. Who wants to watch some big blockbuster, crazy movies, Marvel movies and that? Lovely though they are, I quite like sometimes to watch something that's going to get the old brain ticking or just entertain me in a crazy way. But yeah, brilliant. H.P. Lovecraft and cinema, always worth a watch. So there you go. There is there we are. There is where we're at the moment. Stay safe out there. We're still, as announced yesterday, we're still in another 3 weeks of lockdown. So yeah, that's happening. So we'll see how it goes. Let's try and keep ourselves ticking over, the old brain pans working. Have fun, enjoy yourself, you know, be nice to each other in the family. There's plenty of stuff out there for us to do, so do it. And I will try and catch up more regularly and more updates as soon as I can. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, look at the Facebook, look at the website, do the stuff, do the things, look out there. There's lots of stuff going on. Enjoy yourselves and things. I'm out of here. Thank you and good night.